This is part 2 of corporate America and just the corrupt system behind the corporate world and employers. Because I know I'm not the only one that has stories like this. And it's like society likes to say, why don't you just go find another job? This is why you should have got a college degree, or just these comments that when people, you could tell people who talk like that don't have a clue of what it's really like down in the real world. Like, again, they create any reality they want, being completely oblivious to what's really going on. Because, again, they're watching and from script. Another story, I worked for a mortgage company briefly. And in training, they talk about how you can decline putting your race on the application for just in general, a mortgage application. They still ask the agents to mark down the race. They still want to track it, if at all possible. So they're going to tell you can decline to answer, but they're asking their employees to still fill it out behind people's back. And I feel like if something that small is there's a scheme behind that, then what else is there? Again, take a look around everywhere. And, a lot of people say, let me see, check my notes because my thoughts are kind of sporadic. What did I write? Oh, find another job. Should have went to school. It's like that everywhere. And it's like toxic work environments shouldn't be everywhere. It's actually kind of ridiculous, and I know I'm not the only one that's over the toxic environments that employers provide. They would, want you to just be quiet and just do as you're told, get your paycheck, and go about your day. And it's like, the more you ignore stuff and let stuff go, the bigger the problem is. And it's like you'll wake up one day and look at the planet now. This is why I'm making it my responsibility to call it out and expose what's really going on. Back to the mortgage company. I was supposed to be trained to process people's mortgages that they sent in. And I'm not even getting trained properly because the manager, the assistant manager in the cash management department is in a group chat talking with the rest of the employees about everybody else that's not in on the group chat. And the department head was in on the group chat too. So I thought you were supposed to be training me. She's stressing how important this job is and how if you mess up processing their payment, how it messes up everything, and there could be months before they figure it out. So why aren't you training me for 2 weeks like you say? She literally in 2 hours showed me a couple checks, handed me a stack of checks, and I was expected to do it on my own. And I'm just like, I don't want that burden messing up somebody's mortgage payment, and it's like, this is the kind of things that are going on in the background, behind the scenes, that nobody wants to talk about. Some people are, and I'm like, it's ridiculous. You're supposed to be training me on this very important job. No wonder why companies are a wreck. They were already in trouble with HR, when I was, again, told by the temp agency I was trying to get through about the situation and how they have a hard time filling this position. And I'm like, I'm thinking it's no big deal because I'm just there for a paycheck. Little did I know what was really, again, the high stakes. Because it's like, if something's off balance, you could get in trouble for theft. Even though there really wasn't a theft. They're just allowing anybody to drop. You have to do like a deposit at the end of the day, a digital deposit through the software, the bank software. And it's like anybody can do your deposits. What if somebody's stealing under your name? Then you can get in trouble. It's like you should be doing your own deposits. It's just too much for me. And I'm like, I know if this is going on at a pretty big mortgage company, God only knows what else is going on. So I declined that job. I was good after a few days because the way people run their companies is absolutely ridiculous, that people like me are just kind of stuck. It's like, do like this or you starve. You can find another job, but just it's like everywhere you go. Again, I know I'm not the only one. It's like every job I try to get, you do your best to um get through it, but respect should be a two-way street. When corporate America needs to stop providing toxic work environments for people, because that's mentally draining every day. you know um College is a scam anyway. They created this entire way of life. I'm going to break this down in my next series, but I'm going to just touch up on college is a scam anyway. Just to obtain, get a title. Do it this way or you starve, is basically what it is. The customer service industry is mentally draining. You get attacked personally by so many people. And like I said, it takes its toll on you after a while. I remember at the hotel, I had a guy get mad because they couldn't throw a party and be too loud after 11 p.m. He threw dog food in my face. He was drunk. This is the kind of people that are out there in this world, and they're supposed to be adults. Even when I've traveled and stayed at hotels, I see how people treat the employees like trash because they're entitlement. And again, I told you I'm very sick of entitled individuals. They rule this world, and I'm tired of letting it go and just ignoring it. Why? So it can get worse? You would love that. If you want to be spoken highly of, then you should treat people with respect. Bashing or slander is spreading lies. Truth is truth. If the truth makes you feel uncomfortable, blame the lies, not the person. Blame the environment that was created, and it's like you go to another employer and they ask you, what happened at the last employer, and it's like, then you're labeled a disgruntled employee if you tell the truth. Everybody wants to silence everybody and they wonder why everything's a mess. And it's like, well, because it doesn't matter what you do, somebody in power is going to find a way to silence you, whether it's the government or the CEO of the company or the owner of the establishment. It's just a sick game. And when I tell you I'm over all of it, I'm over all of it. Went to another temp agency out south. Went to work at a warehouse. I was pregnant with my son. And I was miserable. And I worked, like 11-hour, 12-hour days. They time your breaks. All they care about is production. So I ended up switching departments, and there was a guy that really took a liking to me, and he really creeped me out every day. I dreaded going there because he was just creepy. At first he was cool. I thought he was harmless. I was nice to him and stuff. We talked, laughed, thought he was cool. He really helped me out. He'd help me lift stuff. I didn't ask him to, but he would just, he was very sweet. So I thought he was harmless until he started really becoming infatuated with me and following me around. And I would go, to the bathroom or something. He would just be at the bathrooms when I would come out. He'd get mad at me if I went on lunch break without him. I don't even know you like that. And he, if I would talk to other people, he would find me and insinuate himself in the conversations, and just all up in my personal space. And I would catch him just staring at me and smiling, and I'd stack my boxes up from where I was stalking so he wouldn't see me. He would just move. It got really weird. And he was always talking about how he's a gun nut. And then at one point, it was getting closer to me to deliver my son, and he told me that how much he likes camping and stuff, and he wanted to get a tent and put it in the woods and take me there so I wouldn't leave. and I could just have my son in the woods. Just weird stuff. And I just still go to work, you know. I did mention it to the because I worked in inventory. I said something to the inventory manager about how uncomfortable he makes me feel, how he's always following me and just saying really inappropriate things, how he wanted to kidnap me. Exactly what he told me. He wanted to kidnap me and take me in the woods, and I can have my son out there because he didn't want me to go. And he kept asking me if I was coming back after I had my son, and I kept telling him no. I don't know. It's too far of a drive, and I have to, there's a lot of things I have to factor in. I'm not really worried about that right now. And he just kept bugging me. He's like, hey, you should talk to Deb about coming back. It was like he totally forgot the conversation we had the day before. This is the type of predators I'm talking about. They want you to keep explaining yourself. They keep bringing stuff up until you conform to what they have to say. He's not my first encounter. And so I said something to I'm going to stop right there. You brought it up again about me coming back. And I said, dude, I've already told you I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to keep having the same conversation with you. I said, that's the last thing on my mind right now. I have a lot of other things going on. I'm not going to get into it. He slammed his tool down, his whatever the hell he had, I don't remember. Slammed it down and went to his car. And I'm not kidding you, I felt he was going to get a gun. Because the previous day, he was talking about how some guy at a warehouse, chopped some girl's head off with a machete and was laughing about it. He said, security is so weak, I could get my gun in here easily. And then the very next day, he's storming out to the car mad. And I felt that energy and his thoughts. I knew what he was going to do. I know it wasn't paranoia. I know his thoughts were being sent to me. I don't know what changed, but I was ready to go. I know that I wasn't being paranoid. So I said something to the inventory manager about how uncomfortable he is and how he's just very angry all the time. If I don't say something he likes, he switches. And she starts laughing at me saying he's harmless. The next day or the day after, it's like a couple people they're telling me, he's kind of harmless. And then people at the warehouse, I'm telling, we had some drivers, forklift drivers, I'm telling them, and they're like, man, Kelly, I really see what you're talking about. He is creepy. He's like, I do see him looking at you weird. And I told them what they said. So if something happens to me, somebody would know, because everybody else they're telling me I'm paranoid and, thinking I'm making stuff up for attention. It's like, no, I'm not that kind of person. I know there are people like that out there, but that's definitely not me. And everybody's, calling it a joke. The next day, I swear to God, he comes in, he goes, Kelly, my tent came in today. Are you ready to go in the woods? He was dead ass serious. When I tell you I got my shit and I never went back, I never went back. Every week I'm having to hunt my paycheck down from the staffing agency. They're never answering the calls. They're never at the office. They tell you they're going to be in the office. You go there. They weren't there. It's just a very crappy company to work with. And, it's like, you try to go to the HR or anything, and HR is pretty much worthless. It's all corrupt. It's a giant corrupt system everywhere, pretty much. I'm not saying it's 100%, but if I had to say a percentage, I would say 90% of the employers that's out there. And it's like people are tired of getting exploited and treated like slaves, because that's exactly what we are. The industries just tend to pass the buck. They play head games with you. They tell you one thing is something else. It's like a constant psychological warfare, Again, I want to kind of dive into more of this in each series, but it is very corrupt in the corporate world. And I'm over it. And I'm very serious about that. And I feel like you should be able to tell people what happened without them labeling you a disgruntled or hostile employee, because if it's a healthy work environment, there's nothing to expose. Like the hotel situation with the black mold, I tried to report it to the health department. The health department never came, never cared. I can't tell you how many times I tried to report it anonymously. Nobody cares. I tried to report Honey Baked Ham about the meat incident to the health department. All she did was go to the owner and tell him what I said. Nobody actually really cares. Like I said, it's all an image. It's all for image. It's all to pretend, make you think that people really care, but they don't. And it's just sick. Um, again, people who say things like go find another job, you should have went to school. It's like that everywhere. No one wants to work. They've no clue to what reality really is. Only what's been created in their box, scripted thoughts. Cost of living doesn't even match wages. And like, come on, you guys it's either you follow and conform to their way of life or you get nothing. We are all enslaved. Slavery didn't end. They just changed the definition, upgraded their tactics so they could trick you into it. That's what they did. They print this false data and people believe it. Everything is false. Again, the rich shouldn't exist because the resources to live and profit come from earth. So everything that you even make a profit from comes from earth. So it absolutely deserves to come back down and around to replenish and restore this planet. And it will change. I'm over it. It's not their money. They didn't earn it. They stole it from other countries, or, like I said, the rich just move a bunch of money around to create an image for you, make you think something. It's just a giant legal Ponzi scheme. Stock market, all of it is, it's just ridiculous. Government assistance is a scam. How are you going to be mad at people getting government assistance when the government assistance is just money that people should be making if they work anyway? It's not for people who want to sit, just have a bunch of kids and want to sit on their butt and cry wolf. Like I said, all this stuff is coming to an end. I just really hope and pray that they don't get too comfortable, because you count your days. I'm circling back for any and all of you. I did forget to tell this story, part of the story. I'm trying to get into some light here. At the dry cleaners, I worked at Martinizing Dry Cleaners. After I called the owner out for selling it, he said no, for another however much long. I don't remember exactly the time, how long he lied. He just walks in one day and says, "Here's the new owner," and that was it. The new owner fired after he got the dry cleaner up and running, after not trying to say anything. He had a language barrier. He didn't really understand English a lot. So I got all of his accounts set up for him for 2 weeks. After these 2 weeks, after everything was set up, he told me I was getting paid too much, and he fired the lady that had been there for all this time. Fired her because she made too much. So I was expected to do everything, press the clothes and serve the customers for $11 an hour. I said no. This was back when COVID hit. Again, long story short, when I was like 21, I got hit with the charge that I didn't even do. I had a permission to drive a car. They got mad, reported it stolen. I got hit with the charge and got a felony. Knocked 10 years off my life. I was going to go to nursing school. I had to give up that dream. So for all the college people and, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? I have thought of every single angle and every single obstacle. And there is an obstacle to another ring of fire. That's it. Just rings of fire. That's all they have. You jump through all these hoops. You do all this. You do, it's a circus everywhere. And I'm over it. I keep picking up and moving on, and every time I turn around, there's another toxic environment I'm getting away from. And, like I said, predators hide everywhere. They're in everywhere. The industry is a joke. Any industry is a joke. And I just feel like people are too scared to say anything because it's how they bring their put food on the table. Well, I'm not scared of shit anymore. And I'm tired of all of y'all. Like I said, I'm coming for every single one of you. Big name brands, you name it, I'm coming for them. I just really hope y'all don't get too comfortable, because I'm going to tear it all down, dismantle the entire operation. My next series is going to be about breaking down the way of life, and to see how all the odds are really stacked against us, and it's just all rigged, because again, nothing adds up. It's all false data. Again, let me see the documentation to see how y'all come up with these numbers and stuff. Let me check it out. Bet you I already know. It's lies and deceit. And again, if the truth makes you feel uncomfortable, check yourself. You're the problem, not us. Not the ones who stand up for themselves. I'm out.